Are you a Christian? Me either. Are you in need of submitting to your man? Maybe, but me, I'm not. What is true spousal submission for a man? So she's going to answer. Theology of the Body Institute is going to let us know how spousal submission should work, and not kinky submission. We're talking biblically.
It's Elizabeth Busby here, the Director of Programs for the Theology of the Body Institute. Today, we are going to be talking about what true submission looks like in a relationship, but we're going to be talking about it, or we're going to be addressing the men in the room. Before I get started, please make sure you like and subscribe and click the notification bell so that you're aware of any other awesome videos that we put out, and make sure you stay to the end of the video because I'm giving you 3 practical tips for how to live out authentic masculinity. So,
authentic masculinity? Hold on. I don't know anything about this lady. What's going on here? What are the other kinds of videos? Oh, I'm super zoomed for the article. You must die for her. The enemy is after you. Religion was for stupid people. From atheist to Catholic monk. Religion is for stupid people. He is always speaking to hear the voice of God. Oh yeah, this is some dumb shit, I'm sure. This is going to not be great. Okay, wow, holy shit, you're right. This is not my, look, I didn't choose this. This is not my, when this happens, it's my duty. It is not with joy that I do this. It is with a remorse that I must, in fact, let me post this. That's crazy, dude. That's fucking crazy. God, Elon is such a failure. All right. Not my fault. I have to. All right.
So what do I mean by submission? Well, I am talking about Ephesians chapter 5, verses 21 on through like 26 or 27.
Are we going to read that?
You can read it if you want.
Oh my fucking God. I will be reading it. Let's make sure I get it right. Ephesians 5, 21.
Verses 20. I mean by submission? Well, I am talking about Ephesians chapter 5, verses 21 on through like 26 or 27. You can...
Got you. Ephesians. I've read this on the Bible study if you want to watch the full thing, but I don't know. Actually, have we read Ephesians? Maybe not. Thought I did. Be subject to one another out of reverence for Christ. Wives, be subject to your husbands as to the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church, his body, and himself its Savior. As the church is subject to Christ, so let wives be also subject in everything to their husbands. Husbands, love your wives, as Christ loved the church, and gave himself up for her, that he might sanctify her, having cleansed her by the washing of water with the word, that he might present the church to himself in splendor, without spot or wrinkle or any such thing, that she might be holy and without blemish. Even so, husbands should love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. For no man ever hates his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it. This is a verse about please stop beating your wives, as Christ does the church, because we are members of his body. Not your slaves, though. You can beat that. For this reason, a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. This mystery is a profound one, and I am saying that it refers to Christ and the church. However, let each one of you love his wife as himself, and let the wife see that she respects her husband. But not like in the same way, because, of course, he is the head. He's like Jesus, and we don't treat anyone else like Jesus. So it's not the same. Paying a lot of lip service. Sounds political. Interesting. I wonder why this political missive sounds political.
You can read it if you want, but basically the pertinent issue here, the pertinent verse that I'm going to be talking about is where it says, wives, be submissive to your husbands. Generations of Christians have taken this to mean that wives are meant to just do whatever their husband says. He is the boss, so he gets to call the shots, and he gets to tell her everything she needs to do, and she needs to ask him before he does anything. And honestly, I think that there are still some fundamentalist Christian circles that teach this. There are some Catholics who misunderstand this. There's a lot of thought out there about this today. I'm going to challenge that kind of traditional understanding, traditional interpretation of this, with what we understand, the Catholic Church understands this verse to actually mean.
Wowzers. Trying real tough to get through to these people. And, dude, when you're talking to fundamentalist Christians, actually the verse means this has never worked. You know what has worked? Asking them questions that they don't have answers to. Because then they stop being fundamentalist Christians and may immediately become atheists overnight. It happens all the time. It really does, though. I've asked some Christians some tough questions, and they have eventually become atheists because of that shit. Not like ones you debate on the internet, though. Like people you know in real life. people that will hear you.
So, I want to start, before I do that, though, by saying that because so many men have abused this over the years.
Abused what? Not their wives, certainly.
Whether they've done it because church authority has told them that they can, or they've done it just because of some own twisted drive in their own heart.
Patriarchy. Do you disagree with the concept of this thing, though, of course? No, they just hand away.
Generations of men have truly used this to abuse the women in their lives.
There we go. We're saying it. That's great. Generations of men have used this to abuse their wives. Do you think that generational abuse could be called something? No. That's woke, which they make videos about. That's just woke. Okay.
And so women began fighting back against that. And honestly, I think that the feminist movement, the original feminist movement back in the early 1900s, that came out of a desire to...
The original feminist movement, not the current one. I don't want too many rights.
Not be under the yoke of this verse, of this idea, of this bond of submission, if you will. The answer, though, to that abuse of men, even if they're using the Bible to do it, the answer to that abuse of men is not to emasculate the men or to, like, masculate women. Is masculate a word? I don't know. To make women into men, to give them that kind of intense authority over men.
Let me just make sure I understand what you're saying here.
Under the yoke of this verse, of this idea, of this bond of submission, if you will. The answer, though, to that abuse of men, even if they're using the Bible to do it, the answer to that abuse of men is not to emasculate the men or to, like, masculate women. Is masculate a word? I don't know. To make women into men, to give them that kind of intense authority over men.
It's just weird. Like, they're so caught up in this. Like, when they talk about it, you see how often she has to hedge her take. She's like, well, the feminist movement was good. Well, not that feminist movement. Oh, well, this is my interpretation. Well, this is what the church says. Oh, well, this is... Bro. It's really hard to maintain the construct of what genders ought to do because it isn't real and people deviate outside of that constantly, even ones that think that they are, like, adhering to it. You know what I mean? Like, this ideology is dead. This is a dead ideology. It doesn't need to be in your life. If you are a Christian person, I want to talk to you about your belief and why you should not be religious anymore. I'm being genuine. This isn't the devil. The devil doesn't exist. You're brainwashed, though. You're just like, it is the devil. You're just fucking brainwashed. How would you... Okay, if you're a leftist and a Christian, this is even more interesting. You have understood systemic breakdown of capitalism to some extent, and you understand that overall, you've been lied to about America. Consider this. They've also lied to you about reality, your cosmology. They gaslight you about gender. They gaslight you about sexuality. They do it on everything else, but not religion. That's the one caveat you have, Christian leftist. That doesn't make sense to me. Make that make sense. Make this breakdown make sense. How can we not systemically look at the source of religion, see what the evidence brings us to, like we do with capitalism or anything else? Look at the evidence, see what it brings us to, and it brings us to a secular, physical universe without a God. You should be skeptical of yourself. Like, if they can lie to you about the fucking economy, how can you don't think they lied to you about Jesus? There was no fucking control involved with Jesus? You don't like unjust hierarchies. The church operates fine for you? How about religion in general? No unjust hierarchies. God drowns the world and justly rules the universe? Okay. It doesn't make sense because it was written by men. Just tossing that out there. It's got plot holes because it's trash. The story that has the most plot holes in all the universe is not, the Star Wars trilogy. It's fucking Bible, dude.
The answer is to teach men how to be men. What was God's design for that complementarity of the sexes? What was God's design for masculinity? That is the answer to all of this confusion around this idea of submission and the idea of a submissive wife. So we can find out what it means to be a true man simply by looking at that word submission. When you actually break that word apart, sub is...
Sub. Hey, chat. I know you already did, but everyone press the sub button, not the... I mean, you can't subscribe. That's not the one I mean. That's not the one I'm talking about. It's that one.
First, and then mission. What does sub mean? Sub means under, like a submarine goes under the water. So if a woman is meant to be under the mission of her husband, what does that mean? We have to know what his mission is. And
so he takes priority. This isn't good.
Paul tells us a few verses later what that mission is. He says, husbands, love your wives like Christ loved the church. And how did Christ love the church?
Well, not great. I believe he has specific verses about, like, you don't need a brick and mortar church to fucking worship me. You also don't like fucking money lenders and change. Didn't like the Pharisees. Wouldn't like the Catholics. Stuff like that. Whatever, though. Really didn't like the hoarding of wealth.
Gentlemen, he died for her. He literally poured himself out for love of her. He took all of the...
I don't think Jesus died for a church, even in the story of like, how am I a better Christian? He's always dying for everything, dude. He died for the church, died for everything. How is can I ask this question of Christians? Can you recognize that this would be a bad D&D plot? Why is God so not powerful enough to be able to just forgive people? He has to. The only way he can forgive you is if he kills his child to forgive you? To forgive you, though? Conditionally forgive you. The condition is, believe that I killed my son for this shit. God's like, you can go to heaven if you fucking believe I'd do it to you. Okay? Fucking fear me. It's literally Cthulhu. He's trapped behind a divine gate.
The negative things that she was throwing at him, all of the hate, all of the anger, all of the everything, and he died for her. He took that on and then died for love of her.
This woman is a cuck.
As products of this culture, men, you have probably been very emasculated by the hurt and wounded women, and the temptation may be to just double down even harder on the submission or on the hate or the anger or the whatever. But that's not the answer. What St. Paul is telling you to do is to die.
What?
But that's not the answer. What St. Paul is telling you to do.
Oh, I thought, never mind. In Ephesians, I thought she said like Saint Mary or something here, and I thought she was just getting real Catholic.
is to die to yourself for her, to die for her. And then he is encouraging women, he's encouraging wives to allow him to die for her. Now, because of this pain that's happened,
What great advice. Hey, to be a good husband, go die.
there's not a lot of trust. Generally speaking, there's not a lot of trust between women and men. And so women don't want to be that kind of vulnerable to allow a man to die for her. She wants to feel independent. She wants to feel like she can do everything herself. She wants to feel like she doesn't need a man.
Randy, let's write it.
On an individual level, you will need to build the trust or work to build up that healthy spot, go against kind of that woundedness of the woman that you love, to show her that it is safe for her to let you die to yourself for her. And I think that once
this is just drivel,
you have
dude.
that posture, men, of I'm going to die to myself for my beloved, and in general, I'm going to die to myself for other women around me, that changes everything. Because as you begin to do that, she begins to be able to be open to receive it. And
what the fuck are they people even talking about? Bro, what the fuck does that mean? She'll be able to receive fucking what? I'm committed to dying for you. What? Just the notion that he would, I guess.
Her beautiful
Die to yourself. Yep. Don't know what that means.
Femininity can blossom. And then it's not a negative thing to submit. Then being under that mission, allowing him to die for you, letting him, be the one to get up with the baby in the middle of the night, or letting him be the one to do the dishes, or
letting him. I don't think women's issue is letting men do more household duties. Is she trying to brainwash Christian men into not being as shitty?
Or whatever that ends up looking like in your family in any given moment, that becomes something that she's able to do, and she's able to grow in holiness in that way, as he is growing in holiness by dying to himself.
Is she psyoping the Christians, dude?
So you guys know that I love practical tips. It's one of my favorite things, that you can take something practical away from my videos. So I'm going to give you 3 practical tips, men, for how
she has Abby Shapiro vibes. She has big Abby Shapiro vibes, for sure. They would get along big time.
How to go about reclaiming this authentic masculinity. So the first is to be a man of prayer. One of the cardinal sins in a man's life is pride. In all of humanity, but I think especially in the masculine heart, is pride. Like, I can do it myself. I don't need anybody else. I don't need God. I don't need whatever. When you pray, when you bend your knee before God, what you are communicating to yourself is, I am not God.
Again, I think this is a Christian woman's cope in trying to detoxify her immediate Christian male peers. You know what I mean? Like this is a poor attempt at trying to get Christian men to be a little better with it's their word. This is woke Christianity. This is woke Christianity, guys. Not using words like toxicity necessarily. Wow.
It is an act of extreme humility to humble yourself before the God of the universe and say, you are God and I am not.
The God of the universe. She's fucking crazy. Listen to this sentence outside of a Christian context. Just listen to it.
Humility to humble yourself before the God of the universe and say, you are God and I am not. Because if that's the case, then there are things that are demanded of me and my masculinity, and I can't just do whatever I want. I need.
It's fucking crazy. That's a fucking crazy sentence to say.
Need to do what you're asking of me, Lord. So Be a man of prayer. If you don't know what that looks like, go to confession later this week and start going to daily mass once a week and ask the Lord to teach you. Work to cultivate 10 minutes of personal prayer a day, and just allow the Lord to teach you what it means to be a man, because he is the ultimate man, Jesus Christ. The second...
He's the ultimate man. Be willing to kill your child. Wowzers. That's the ultimate man.
thing I want to encourage you to do is
be willing to be the dead child, though. That's really what it is.
Find an outlet for all of that masculine energy. So the reality is testosterone operates in a body very different from estrogen and progesterone. And testosterone makes you need to be active, makes you need to do things with your body, to simplify it. Most men since the Industrial Revolution have spent their time sitting at a desk. They spend 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week sitting at a desk, sitting in a car commuting. You know, it's a very sedentary lifestyle. Whereas back in the day, there was a lot of literal hunting, hunting animals or waging battles against enemy tribes or whatever. There was tilling.
Waging battles against enemy tribes. Bitch, I played fucking like 5 hours of D&D last night. Trying to fucking wage tribal battles with motherfuckers. We just want to eat glizzies and watch football. I mean, do what you want.
The land, which is a lot of physical labor. There was just a lot of physical outlets for your testosterone, and there aren't as many natural outlets in this day and age.
You literally can't. There's plenty of outlets for your testosterone. The worst part is absolutely capitalism's effect on our bodies. The fucking toil that we have to go through. Look, yeah, be physically active. It's good for you. You don't need whatever the rigmarole is she's just trying to get to justify it. Using your body is good for you unless you use it too much and in a painful way. Well, sometimes it hurts because you're not using it. Pick up some stretching.
So I'm going to encourage you to seek them out. Whether that looks like exercise, right? You develop a healthy posture towards exercise and you incorporate exercise in your life. Whether that looks like sports, you know, like rec leagues of sports that allow you to get some of that masculine energy out. Whether that looks like taking up some sort of martial art like jujitsu or something like that, you know, whatever that looks like for you, find an outlet for that masculine energy.
Literally, she's just saying, hey, you should help around the house and get a hobby. I feel like other people are saying this. But with less, fewer words, less bullshit. It takes a long time for Christians to even get close to, like, positive reinforcement. Holy fucking shit.
Because if you don't find an outlet for the masculine energy, it's going to get turned in on itself. And the two primary ways that that masculine energy gets turned in on itself, honestly, is pornography and gaming.
Gaming? Wowzers. I don't think there's a testosterone link with gaming. Maybe there's you can get your competitive jimmies out a little. I think it's more like they probably hit their wives and shit, man. Gaming.
In gaming,
every time I pause this, she looks absolutely fucking nutty.
Men are able to engage in
nothing I can
combat,
do.
Which hits their kind of triggers that masculine desire to fight and to conquer.
Combat?
But it's fake. It's not real. And so it thwarts that masculine energy, to be honest, and it sucks energy away from others.
I don't play a lot of violent games. I play sports games mostly to vibe. By the way, I just bought the new NBA 2K, and I'm bad at it because it just came out, and usually they change some mechanics. And so right now, it feels like the shots are really slow. Anyone else feel that? Anyone else play 2K? Just me? Anyway, I feel like the shot meter feels really slow. I feel like I'm taking forever to build a shot. Anyway, so I've been missing some shots, but I'm getting better. Anyway, I'm having good, tight, competitive NBA 2K basketball again, which has been a while. Anyway, got to fit that into this video because we brought up sports and being manly.
other ways you could be living that masculine genius. And also with
Genius.
pornography, of course, that takes that amazing gift that you men have been given
Come?
to bring forth life into the world.
Come?
All of that energy that is
She just loves cum, dude.
meant to go out of yourself, and it turns it back in on yourself.
Come. She's like, and look, more cum for your wife. More cum for your wife.
So these two things, the enemy has done a really good job of incorporating them into men's lives in a way that is almost idolatrous, and I want to really encourage you to fight against those. So if those take up a lot of energy in your life, the first thing you can do is work to eliminate pornography and put gaming in its proper context time-wise, and then use the rest of your energy to do other things like I mentioned earlier. And
What other things am I supposed to do? I don't think guys spend most of their time watching porn or playing video games. Am I crazy? Maybe video games. I feel like most of the time people spend is working. Get a hobby that is something that's not video games is good. Definitely something I think most people need to just have a hobby that they're working on something. It's cathartic and it helps. Whether that happens to be yourself, like a skill you have, or can be anything. Just something you work toward. Making a table. I don't know. Doing a D&D campaign. Working out's great. It hurts me though.
And the last practical tip that I want to give you is look for ways to serve the vulnerable. So I don't necessarily include women in this. Women are vulnerable, but you are also vulnerable men, and you are able to serve each other. What I mean by the more vulnerable are
kids. All I can think of is the Come song. Oh no. Come is now. I probably can't play this. We'll listen to it.
children, the sick, the poor. Look for ways to
Children,
go
the sick,
outside
the
of yourself and give. You know, maybe you do a Big Brothers Big Sisters community group. Maybe you go work for Habitat for Humanity and you volunteer with them. Maybe you go read to sick children in the hospital. Maybe you, I don't know, serve at a soup kitchen. There are so many ways that you can get outside of yourself and serve people who are more vulnerable, but that will also tap into your authentic masculine desire to protect and provide. So the
authentic masculine desire to protect and provide. It sounds so fucking like, I know this is appealing for some Christian men and conservative men. She sounds like she's talking down to me, and that so she's like a mom or something. It drives me fucking crazy.
Those are my 3 practical tips. Make sure you are a man of prayer.
It sounds like she's trying not to make me mad. She's like, that's an authentic masculine feeling,
Cultivate prayer in your life and that beautiful humility. Make sure that you have a healthy outlet for your authentic masculine energy, and make sure that you are serving those who are more vulnerable than you. If you are able to do that in your life, if in your immediate circle you are able to be an authentic man,
you're not going to be an authentic man if you're a Christian, because it's not authentic. The only way to authenticity is to shed the bullshit. Fuck, bro. So yeah, she's a woke Christian. She wants the men to be better, but has no fucking clue how to get there, because she rejects the actual things that will get her the result she wants. So she will wallow with bad men until the day she dies, unless she changes her political position. Because this is just how it works, man. I guess I'm glad that this is a step in. This is better than the hyper conservative Christians, I guess. Sure. Yay. This is stage 1 brain cancer. It's actually more like stage 3. Being full of right wings for stage 5. Not a lot of people make it out of that. No pickles. Welcome for rating. Noman and Picklin. Welcome. That's pretty much it. You'll never be a real man if you're a Christian.